To lose weight or to induce a negative energy balance, the energy coming in needs to be less than the energy being expended. Or the energy being expended needs to be more than the energy coming in. So you may think the easiest way to induce this is to just stop eating, right? But no, we need food to survive, as hopefully you've learned the importance of having food and energy thus far. While fasting does produce short-term weight loss, this is not the best. This very rapid weight loss is not maintainable, and there can be some negative consequences. So let's talk a little bit about fasting. So when an individual has gone for more than 3 days without food, the liver glycogen is used up. So there's no more carbohydrate or glucose that can be used for that immediate energy. And we know that glucose is the preferred energy source for things like the brain. Therefore, protein has to be sacrificed from lean tissue to provide glucose. And remember that protein is not a preferred energy source because it takes a lot of work by the body to break it down to provide the material to form glucose. After 10 days of fasting, the brain and the nervous system will meet most of their energy needs by using ketone bodies. And these are caused by, if you think back to some of our earlier chapters, when fat molecules are broken down when there is an adequate carbohydrate intake. So an individual needs to have adequate fat stores so that ketone bodies can be formed. And the use of these ketone bodies can help preserve protein and lean muscle mass. Neither one of these is good, so just because the body does this doesn't mean that it's a good thing. But if you were, stranded somewhere for 10 days and you had plenty of fat stores, you would be able to survive without food for a while. So as I mentioned, fasting is harmful. It does not cleanse the body. It can actually lead to increased fat storage. It can actually result in slow metabolism. So a lot of people think that, if they don't eat that, they should automatically lose weight. But it becomes hard because when our bodies think that they're in a starvation mode or that they're not going to receive food, this actually slows an individual's metabolism, or that BMR, as we talked about before. Fasting can also deprive tissues of the necessary nutrients needed to perform vital functions. This upsets the acid-base balance of the blood due to the ketone bodies. Excessive mineral losses are going to occur through the urine. This can lead to overeating when food is available. So just because you're fasting now, when the food becomes available later we tend to overeat. And this can also cause intestinal lining of the small intestine to lose its integrity. So once food is consumed, absorption of minerals and nutrients will decrease. So none of this is good and actually can result in death. On the other side, when we have positive energy balance, this can lead to weight gain. So remember, our energy yielding nutrients are carbohydrate, protein, and fat, and all of these are going to contribute to body stores or body energy stores. Alcohol also provides calories, but again, it's not a nutrient because it's not considered essential. There are two types of energy storage in the body. So whether we consume, carbohydrate, protein, or fat, it's going to either be stored as glycogen or fat. Glycogen is going to be used for fuel. Remember, glycogen is our preferred fuel source. And then fat is, our body stores of fat. An excess of any food, it doesn't matter whether it's a healthy food or an unhealthy food. If we consume excess of anything, it will become fat, and this will contribute to weight gain. So it doesn't matter if you consume, 5 pounds of carrots or 5 pounds of chocolate cake. Anything excess is going to contribute to fat. So even if you ate salads all day, but you put a lot of extra stuff on it, and you just consume too many calories, it's going to lead to excess weight gain. So too much of anything causes weight gain, regardless of whether it's good or bad or healthy or unhealthy. So how do we achieve and maintain a healthy body weight? It's important to focus on our eating patterns. So following those recommendations set forth by the dietary guidelines, using My Plate, thinking about the macronutrient distribution ranges for our macronutrients, thinking about the needs of all the micronutrients. Physical activity is very important in maintaining and achieving a healthy body weight, and then behavior modification in general. And really small changes or small behavior modifications are important in making them sustainable changes over the long term. So when you're thinking about, maybe you need to lose weight, maybe you need to gain weight, or maybe you just want to make sure that you don't gain any weight, you really just want to maintain, it's important to think about what is the motivation behind what you want to do. So if you think that you want to lose 10 pounds, first think about why do I want to lose 10 pounds? So start with, what is my body mass index? If your body mass index is already in the normal range, 10-pound of weight loss could actually put you in the underweight category, and this is not healthy either. So maybe instead of I want to lose 10 pounds is I want to tone up. I want to get muscles on my arms, or I want to be able to run a mile. So how can you do this? So again, thinking about what your motivation behind things is. Then set a SMART goal, and SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time specific. So make your goal very specific. So I want to be able to run 5 miles. I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to improve my blood pressure by 5 points. So making it specific and measurable. Is it realistic? So again, with the 10-pound body weight loss, if you're already normal weight, 10 pound may not be achievable at all, and it may not be realistic. So again, with that realistic, if you said, I want to lose 30 pounds, that's a huge weight loss. So maybe 30 pounds is the overall goal, but you can set small goals of like, okay, I want to lose 5 pounds in 3 weeks, and then progress that towards your overall 30 pounds. And then again, making it time specific. So putting a time limit on it. So that 3 weeks or a month or a year, whatever it is, having a time, and that will allow you to track your goals and know how you're doing. It's also important to keep records, so you have had experience keeping your food record. For part of our dietary analysis project, we'll probably have a piece looking at physical activity and tracking your physical activity. And then the importance of sleep is becoming a big factor in weight as well. So, tracking your sleep patterns, and then seeing how that relates to your food and physical activity. How are all of these related? So, some effective strategies for weight loss. Make sure that you're, consuming an appropriate number of calories. So, one of the problems with weight loss is that people cut their calories too drastically, and then because they're not consuming enough, their body is in that starvation mode, the basal metabolic rate, metabolism decreases, and then they're not losing weight at all. So, make sure you're consuming enough calories so that your body doesn't think that it's starving. Generally, the recommendations are to decrease your calorie intake by about 500 calories per day. Next, you want to make sure you're getting adequate intakes of all the macronutrients, of all the vitamins and minerals. So make sure you're consuming plenty of fruits and vegetables, fiber, whole grains, lean proteins, low-fat, fat-free dairy. Make sure you're getting everything that you need to have an adequate diet. Correct your portion distortion. So many of us have no idea how much we really should be eating of something, and I'll show you, some ways to know how much you're really consuming. So what does a cup look like? What does a teaspoon look like? What does a tablespoon look like? So really focusing on how much we're consuming and how much we need to be consuming. Establish a regular eating pattern. So, always eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then have a few snacks in between. Or, maybe you want to eat 5 small meals a day. It's really up to you, but it's important to have a consistent eating pattern. And remember that snacks are okay. So snacks can be used to meet some of those nutrient gaps. And again, this will help you to achieve adequate intakes of everything that you need. Choose high nutrient dense and low energy dense foods. So we want to decrease the empty calories that we're consuming. And again, focusing on things that provide a lot of nutrient density, like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fiber-rich foods. All of those are great choices for high nutrient density. Beware of fad diets. There's a great segment in your book that you can look at more about fad diets. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So just be cautious and use all the knowledge that you've learned this far to evaluate these diets and see if they're really sustainable and if they're really going to be, effective over the long term. Make small changes. Don't make all your changes at once. So, don't say I'm never going to have dessert again, but say I'm only going to have dessert 2 times this week. Or you don't want to say I'm going to start running 5 miles every day if you don't run at all. So maybe you start by walking 10 minutes a day 3 times a week. So small changes are key. Here's an example you can use for portion control with your hand. This slide does a nice job representing energy density. So this is a very low energy density meal, but it's very highly nutrient dense. Whereas this meal has a lot of energy, it's very high energy dense, but has low nutrient density. So look at all this food we get to eat on a low density, high nutrient density meal. Physical activity also plays an important role in weight loss and weight maintenance. With weight loss, physical activity really goes hand in hand with dietary changes, but the dietary changes are having the largest effect. Whereas in weight loss maintenance, physical activity really is the key player there. And physical activity is very important for maintaining weight loss. Some advantages of physical activity, and we'll talk more about these next week with our focus on the chapter is all about physical activity. Our feelings of satiation. So it's really a myth that exercise makes you hungry. It increases our lean tissue or muscle mass, decreases bone loss, and can help to reduce stress. What about people that need to gain weight? So those underweight people. So it's still important to follow all those guidelines that we've talked about that make up a healthy diet, but choose a few more foods that are very energy dense but still provide a lot of nutrient density. Eat a little bit more, so increase the portion sizes, eat more frequently, so don't eat large meals, just eat smaller more often throughout the day, and then focus on building lean muscle mass through resistance or weight training exercises. There are some medications that are approved to treat obesity by the FDA. However, there are some negative side effects, and you can read about these in your book. Obesity surgery may also be an option for some individuals, but this is not a cure for obesity. There are many complications, including death, and long-term changes will still need to be made. So just because someone has gastric bypass or gastric banding doesn't mean they can eat whatever they want. They have to make all these changes very quickly. So obesity is not a quick fix, or surgery is not a quick fix either. All right, so weight loss maintenance really is a lifelong commitment. Most people struggle to maintain weight loss long term due to this use of many diets, making unrealistic, unsustainable changes, and this leads to weight cycling. So, losing weight, regaining, losing, regaining, and this can have some negative health effects as well. So again, focus on behavior modification and small sustainable changes. Don't try to modify or change everything at once. Have a lot of self-efficacy. So believe in yourself. Think about the reason that you're doing this. Value your health. Value, why this is important to you. It's okay if you mess up once in a while. Forgive yourself. Tomorrow is a new day. Okay, you gained a couple pounds over the holidays. All right, what are you going to do to fix that? Or I haven't worked out in a week. All right, tomorrow I'm going to start over. I ate a whole package of Girl Scout cookies. All right, tomorrow I won't have a cookie. So think about how you can correct that and really think about that each day is a new day and that we all mess up. So a slip up is fine. Remember to focus on physical activity and then find a support group. So there are a ton of apps out there today. So, Fitbit, MyFitnessPal, there's all kinds of apps that can be a support group. You can also find a support group in the form of actual people. So coworkers, friends, family members. Weight Watchers has, a support group aspect to it. So find someone that's going through the same thing or that can provide, a source of accountability for you, and that will help you to be successful in your weight maintenance journey as well.